we know that what they're doing is completely wrong. They are stealing people's images. They are using AI to craft these fake storylines. It's all so wrong. The marketing impressions that this brand is getting from going viral over and over and over again with these fake influencer accounts, it is why, again, when we look at their sales numbers, they're doing pretty good. Instead of being a good product, this company is differentiating themselves by going pretty fake, like fake influencers, fake storylines, really deceptive marketing strategies, in my opinion. Hey there, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hello and welcome. I'm so glad you found your way here. My name is Carolyn, and this is Over the Influence, a series where we uncover the wild and often shady world of influencer marketing, deceptive advertising practices, and social media manipulation. Together, we'll dive into the tactics that brands use to pull you in from those deceptive advertising and marketing practices to influencers whose content feels less like thoughtful, meaningful creation and more like a cleverly disguised sales pitch. So here on Over the Influence, we are over it and we're here to call it out. Today, we are diving back into the sketchy world of AI influencers and the scammy products that they're trying to sell us. For some background, a couple weeks ago, we took a deep dive into the wild world of NAD supplements and what I would call a full-blown AI influencer campaign / real influencers getting paid to lie to us. Since then, some awesome people have been tagging me in other AI influencer content. You know who you are. Thank you so much. This whole world is so much more out of control than I ever even realized. And I just have to say it. I really believe that what we're seeing when it comes to these AI influencers we're about to dive into is just the beginning of a whole new trend of deceptive marketing practices we're going to see absolutely explode over the next few years, if not even sooner. Because unfortunately, as we're about to see, these methods are absolutely working. These brands are seeing real success, and I hate it because that means other brands, other scammy companies will pick up on the fact that this is a best practice, and social media will continue becoming a worse and worse place. So let's go ahead and start with the real humans in this story. You, me, and the 12 million other people who watched this video that was posted just 3 days ago. Because this alone sets the tone for everything that comes next. All right, let's read this together. POV, I'm curiously swiping through the photos of a mom who moved her kids to Japan with how cheap it is. Then I see a shower head on the last photo. Yeah, so there are nearly 1 million likes on this video and over 2,000 comments. Clearly, this is not a unique experience that this woman is sharing. And thanks to the lovely people who were tagging me in these AI influencer videos, I also knew exactly what she was talking about because these videos, ever since I saw the first few, have been popping up on my TikTok algorithm nonstop. So just in case you don't know what I'm talking about here, let's jump into this TikTok carousel. All right, so this TikTok carousel has 1.5 million views. And before we go any further, please let me be clear. Everything I'm about to show you is not real. But unlike my last AI influencer video where we analyzed the overly symmetrical faces and the other key indications of AI, I'm actually going to be blurring the faces of the people in these carousels. And I'm doing that for a very serious reason, and we will get into why in just a little bit, but just bear with me here. All right, so this story starts off with a lovely looking family and text that says why we moved to Japan as a family. Starting off strong with housing and expenses. We paid $90,000 for a 3-bedroom house in the middle of Tokyo. Groceries are $20 to $30 a week for a family of 5. We are no more living paycheck to paycheck. Please, if you ever come across a video like this, because again, this type of social media content is exploding. I think we're only going to see more and more of it. We have to really start thinking very carefully about how we consume social media content. If something sounds way too good to be true, it is. That is the rule. And not to start and stop here, but I did a little bit of research, and as of September of 2024, the average price of just an apartment in central Tokyo, or the middle of Tokyo as this person says it, is approximately 70 million yen, which is approximately 686,000 US dollars. So that is an absolute lie. Anyways, moving on. Next, we have safety and security. Japan is super safe as they have the death penalty. You can walk the streets at 2 a.m. and still feel really safe as a woman. gentlemen, please, once again, when we are consuming social media content, if there are divisive issues that show up in this way, like freaking death penalty, this is classic engagement farming, which we will talk about in a little bit. Just throwing these little details that could get people commenting, saying things like, America, like all these states in America have the death penalty too. What are you talking about? Or like, I'm against that. You know what I mean? Every little detail here is very strategic. Next, we have motherhood. Japan wants people to have kids, while in the US, you get 0 parental leave. Here, you get 24 months. I may want to have more kids soon. Again, hot button issues. Every single slide, they're just throwing in issues that they know. Like, we see this happen with news organizations. It's very strategic. Getting these narratives inserted in a video like this is meant to really increase engagement and get people talking in the comments. You know what I mean? And also have to say here, I did do a little bit of research and I could not find any evidence that Japan offers 24 months of paid leave. I did find that Japan must offer 14 weeks of maternity leave, which is, yes, way better than most states in the US. This is, again, definitely an issue that I feel pretty passionate about and is a hot button issue so many other people feel really passionate about. This is very strategic. We got to keep an eye out for these things. Now, here we go with a absolutely AI generated image. I mean, if you've ever tested out like ChatGPT's function for generating AI images, I know that there are other tools that probably do this better and are exactly what a lot of these accounts are using to actually generate human imagery that looks real and convincing. But here, I always see stuff like these like leaves just being naturally generated into these photos. Everything just feels a little bit off here again. But she says, food quality. I was shocked to find out that all the food in Japan is organic and healthy with no pesticides or GMOs. I lost all the baby weight and I had picked up in 2 months of being here. Again, just farming for engagement, trying to talk about these issues. Yes, we all know that the food in America is famously overprocessed. And these are just storylines that I'm sure the creators of these accounts are picking up from other viral videos that come from real creators. Now, what do we have here? Does this look a little off to you? Because it's going to become a huge theme. We are going to see this over and over and over again, 100 times through dozens of accounts that I have found like this. It says, water quality. The water quality in Japan is not great, so the government provides these filters for all the houses. My Japanese girlie says this is how they have such perfect skin and hair. Oh, how lovely. Oh my goodness, look at me with my checklist of all the reasons why Japan is so great. Imagine that I'm not thinking this critically as I'm just casually scrolling through social media. So when I come across the water quality issue, I'm like, oh my goodness, I didn't even think about how bad my water quality is. Is that why I'm having issues with my hair, with my skin? Well, you know what? Like, that's something I can change. And of course, as we see on the next slide, I needed to do my research and find out more for myself. And I found this on Amazon. Stay tuned to see what I think about it, please. Last slide here, comment JPN to find out which agency we use to move here. I have so much to say. Well, I think first, before we even get into some of the things I haven't touched on about how this is a deceptive advertisement and the tactics that they're using to go viral and sell this shower head filter, I just think that we should zoom out for a second here, because this one video is just a little tiny piece of a way bigger scam. The scale of this operation is ridiculous considering how low effort I would argue it really is. I do not love to see how successful this is. It's very disturbing to me. So to back up here, this fake account, which is called japan.expat, yeah, this is just one of 7 accounts that I found running the exact same scam. All very similar to the same fake story of moving to Japan, but with different images and different personas. Sometimes it's a couple, sometimes it's a family. And even through the blur, I hope that you can tell when you click on these accounts. So say that one of these videos came up in your feed, and again, we're just casually scrolling as we do on social media. It doesn't maybe click for us immediately that this is a advertisement. Well, if we just look at this account of this influencer that is trying to sell this story/product to us, we can see that these people in all of these different videos are not only looking different with different faces, different personas, these characters are completely changing races. This is a telltale sign for just a completely fake account. Yet somehow these accounts are really succeeding. You can see just in this specific account, which the carousel we just looked at, they have 3 videos pinned to the top that have gone completely viral. So all of this, just keep this in mind, because I don't want to spend an hour here breaking down every single one of these carousels, but I just want you to get a gist for the absolute operation that is happening here. And I have some theories as to why it's happening, who is behind it, but ultimately the one thing that we can say for sure is that all these accounts exist to sell a random filtered shower head, which, by the way, comes with a subscription. Yes, a subscription model shower head, as if this was not ridiculous enough. And most importantly, what I want to get into this video is really understanding who we can point our fingers at for stuff like this. Because if there is one thing that frustrates me to no end about this type of deceptive marketing, is that when it comes to using AI and these faceless accounts that are creating content that are undisclosed ads and are succeeding, we cannot hold these people accountable. The worst thing that could happen to them, which is not happening, by the way, is that the TikTok platform could take down their account because they are breaking TikTok's rules. We've discussed it already in every single video I've made so far. TikTok does require you have to use the paid partnership label. You have to disclose that this is an ad. I know, blah, blah, blah. I know, I sound like a broken record here, but ultimately I do want to take a step back and really kind of try to expose the players who do not care about their customers or their audience. They will do anything to shill a product, whether it takes lies, manipulation. They are all here to make a quick buck. And that needs to be talked about, you know? All right, getting into this particular analysis of this carousel, I just want to take a second to start with this last slide here, which says comment JPN to find out which agency we used to move here. Please, I would love if you would let me know in the comments if you've ever seen anything like this on Instagram in particular, or even YouTube Shorts. I've seen the NAD AI influencers on YouTube Shorts. I'm sure that these exist somewhere there too. I'm just curious about Instagram in particular, because like we saw in the restock product placement video, we know that Instagram has this bot function built into the platform where influencers can shill their products and ask their audience to comment a specific word in the comment section, and that will generate a link being sent to you in your inbox to make it super convenient for you to spend all your money as quick as possible on their platforms with ease and quickness. So I just can't help but wonder if that is what's happening on Instagram, if they're repurposing that for TikTok, even though TikTok does not have that function. But also, if I had to guess here, my theory would be again that these accounts are very strategic when it comes to engagement farming. They know what they're doing. They know how to hack the algorithms. They're probably constantly changing their approach to getting engagement, because they know the more engagement they get, the better these videos do in the algorithm, the more convincing that they come. And again, what I was saying when we were initially watching and reading through this carousel is that rage bait in particular is a huge tactic here, and something I want to dive deeper into maybe in one full video about how brands know that rage bait works so well. But anyways, in this case, this video, this creator, whatever, is telling blatant lies. They are lying about housing costs. They are lying about grocery costs. They're lying about maternity leave. They're just lying to us. They're, I guess, saying it in a way that the casual viewer might believe it, but they know that some people are going to come into the comments section and call them out on their lies and create engagement, which is exactly, as we'll see in a second, what is happening here. So yes, it all comes down to hacking the algorithm, which again, we can see this post has 1.5 million views, 90,000 likes, 1,300 comments, 11,000 saves, and 21,000 shares. So this post is marketing gold, and we can just look at some of the comments to see how they're doing this. One of the top comments says, currently living in Japan, but going back stateside, definitely going to miss this country. Everything you said is true about Japan. Looking forward to move my family here for good. Someone also was asking about the maternity leave. Someone else also said, there's no way groceries are $20 to $30 per week. We lived there in 2018, and I'd say it was at least double that. And then, of course, we have this method of engagement farming, which is really frustrating because I also want to call out these creators creators, but it unfortunately pushes the video in the algorithm when people are saying stuff like, how convenient. I saw 2 of these style videos, both advertising the same shower head. Someone else says nice advertising. I am not telling you to not call out these creators, but I'm just pointing out the sad reality that this form of deceptive advertising on its own is a way to farm engagement and find success, which this is clearly doing. This post is marketing gold. And again, this is why I want to dive deeper into rage bait, because rage bait feels like a modern term that has been born from these social media channels. But in reality, this is such a tried and true method. It goes back to the phrase that all PR is good PR. We are seeing it left and right in our modern world. It is all about the divisiveness, the controversy, getting people to argue with each other and outraged. This is just, it hacks our attention span. In my first video, which was about the NAD AI influencers, I talked for a little bit about how we are living in an attention economy. And it could not be more true, especially when it comes to, we're seeing videos like this be so successful, fueling this kind of controversy, outrage, discussion. Unfortunately, I even feel as I'm making a video like this, like, oh, it's so frustrating that I am almost fueling this conversation and this discussion. However, I will get into it in a bit about how I think having these discussions and talking to each other about how we do have to take social media a little bit more seriously, especially when it comes to just casually scrolling, because our brains are so easily programmable. This is why I got into marketing as a career. I just find the psychology behind it fascinating. However, when I look back to my 20-year-old self in college, just being totally enamored by the fact that marketing and PR was born from Freudian theories and psychology, and now as someone who is a bit older and more progressed in life, I feel like having this perspective, and also, social media is a big part of my life, and I love social media for a lot of reasons. I love that it's a place that can fuel people's creativity, give people who don't have the money or the wherewithal to have a platform or create art and be discovered. All these things I think are great. It's a place that we can connect with each other. I've had my mind open to new ideas. I've made friends that I have in real life from social media. So I guess I just feel a bit protective, and like I have this desire to want to keep social media as a positive tool and not just become a complete garbage universe for this kind of deceptive marketing to just rule everything and overshadow everything good, Because going back to the psychology of marketing and the fact that all PR is good PR, our brain is so programmable to the point that it is unfortunate to think about that unless we consciously make a decision around not ever buying a product like this simply because they benefit from deceptive marketing practices, unless we really consciously think about that and make that decision, this showerhead brand, even if we casually scroll and we're like, oh my God, that's an ad, how silly, our brains still have this funny way of categorizing the Athena shower brand, or the Athena shower filter, showerhead, whatever brand, in our brains as shower filter brands that I recognize. And we got into this a little bit in my last video about the restock influencers and product placement, the mere exposure effect in marketing, the theory that is proven by science that essentially the more we are exposed to something, the more that we tend to like it. And unless we really purposefully, again, like I said before, decide to not buy this product because of how sketchy their marketing is, this kind of exposure, like the marketing impressions that this brand is getting from going viral over and over and over again with these fake influencer accounts, it is ultimately a good thing. And it is why, again, when we look at their sales numbers that we can find out there on the internet, they're doing pretty good. They're doing a lot better than they would be if they were just in another obscure whatever showerhead brand. And what's even more frustrating, I know I'm going off on a little bit of a tangent and I'll reel myself in here in a second, but again, since these fake influencer accounts on TikTok are not technically disclosing that they're sponsored by this brand or being paid by this brand or have entered in any sort of contract to promote this brand. The actual company, like this Athena shower brand company, anybody who works there, the company itself, has plausible deniability that, oh, we have nothing to do with these advertisements. It's just, some influencers out there going kind of rogue. We'll talk more about that in a little bit, but I really want us to keep that in mind when we think about this shower brand. They will deny that they have anything to do with this. And I, in my opinion, again, just my opinion, don't believe that for a second. So going back into the deceptive marketing tactics of it all, there is one thing that I wanted to talk about. With the last AI influencer video, a lot of people in the comments were saying things like, hey, like when you read the comments on those AI influencer videos, I would go as far to guess that what if a lot of those comments are actually bots as well? And honestly, I would not rule it out. So this goes back into a conversation about a PR marketing practice called astroturfing. And astroturfing is when companies or influencers fabricate grassroots engagement to make something seem more popular, trustworthy, or authentic than it actually is. So in a way, these fake AI influencer accounts are a form of astroturfing. It is a way to give us the impression that our fellow humans, other people who look like us, want the same things out of life like we do, are really just gung-ho for this product and really feel passionate about recommending it to us. But of course, this is a 100% false reality. All of these accounts are completely fake. It is a false reality at its finest. So then going into the conversation about bots in the comments on TikTok, I don't want to lose out on the fact and my belief that 1,000,000% there are people in this comment section who do 100% believe this advertisement, believe that this is a real video from a real content creator, and are not picking up on the fact that this is a clever and yet not so clever advertisement. Because let's be real, misinformation on social media is almost the backbone of engagement on these platforms. It is everywhere. It is rampant. So when we talk about who is most likely to fall for this, for starters, someone who is not chronically online, like some of us. People who don't spend hours dissecting influencer culture and find this kind of world pretty fascinating. People who are not familiar with engagement farming tactics and are more, like I said before, a casual user of social media. I think like our future could go one of two ways. We could have these conversations and the next generation, like Gen Alpha, they could wake up to the fact that all of us are falling for this stuff and end the cycle. And ultimately, marketing would have to become a more ethical and transparent function because customers would not fall for this stuff. They would not stand for this stuff, and brands would have to change their ways. Or I could see a world where already, like, we kind of see the writing on the wall when it comes to AI. We went through it with that whole NAD supplement video. These accounts are pretty convincing. The fact that we are still so early in the development of AI and AI imagery and videos, it won't be long. It won't be long. We all know that there is going to be a day that could be in the very near future where the layperson, someone like you or me, even someone who is very familiar with marketing tactics and social media tactics and AI imagery and how to spot it, even you or me, like there is going to come a day where we are not going to be able to tell the difference. We are not. Again, I think it's important to have these conversations and hopefully start some sort of like just trickle of a movement that may one day hold these brands accountable for having to do better, because this is just the beginning. We're just seeing the very start of these kinds of practices, which just you wait. In this case, this particular type of deceptive fake influencers, it actually gets even worse than what we looked at when it came to the AI influencers with the NAD supplements. So let's get into that. So going back to why I blurred the faces of the people in these videos, please just remember that as we look at this next example, because yes, this is going to show us exactly why this situation gets even worse. And here is another example that has even more views. It is sitting at 2 million views and 270 150,000 likes. So let's look at this carousel together. Very familiar storyline right off the top, only with a different, very beautiful family. The text says, why we really moved to Japan. Safety. The US is ranked 133rd in safety. Japan is 9th. Our kids are able to walk miles to the store and school by themselves. Also, 0 homeless here. I didn't fact check this information, but based on what we already know from the last video, I mean, I am not going to believe anything that this person says whatsoever. Housing and expenses. Oh, we know this one. We bought our 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house for $92,000 to live in the middle of Tokyo. Groceries are $30 to $50 a week, family of 5, and we're not living paycheck to paycheck anymore. This is so frustrating. Again, they're playing on people's vulnerabilities. When you think about who this brand is marketing themselves to, they are literally marketing themselves to people who are struggling. Like, they are looking to resonate with an audience who is struggling to find affordable housing, who is frustrated with how much their grocery bill is cutting into their living expenses. That is exactly who they're targeting. Like, these are the kinds of thought exercises to go through when we think about social media from a marketing perspective. Like, this is extremely predatory, in my opinion. Next, we have the government. Japan's government gives $7,000 a year for children under 15. Schools here also offer free daycare and medical insurance for the kids. NYC could never. Oh my goodness. Again, playing into people's insecurity about money, about childcare, all of these issues that we already know are hot button topics. And again, I just am not going to spend the time fact checking it because at this point we know that doesn't matter. We know these accounts are 1,000,000% fake and lying to us. If you know this information, please share it in the comments so we can all laugh at it together. Food quality. Japan has one of the lowest rates of cancer in the world. They banned tons of US ingredients and it shows in the food. These are such typical storylines. You know what? It's great to have these conversations, and social media can be a tool to share information like, hey, I think in America we should kind of hold our brands that we buy from to higher standards around the quality of food that they're selling us. I think that's a great conversation to have in the right context with real people. Not here though. This is lazy engagement farming. Oh, and here we go. Water quality. 2 check marks here. Japan's water quality rating is 93.8. The US is 81.2. Whatever that means, okay? It's also required for all homes to have filtered shower heads as well. My husband and I, acne was gone in a week. Please. And it just dawned on me that I didn't even fact check if Japan requires water filters. Like, the Japan government just gives water filters to all of their residents, because that just sounds ridiculous. I'll fact check it, whatever. Does Japan? It does not. Of course it doesn't. Okay, anyways, we ended up buying this filtered shower head in Japan for our family back home, just to realize we could have ordered it on Amazon for them. Oh my goodness, you should just go check the link in my bio. Yeah. And again, no more acne for them. Interesting that we're seeing this storyline. If you've paid attention to some of the other videos that I've been putting on the screen, we'll see in a little bit when we look at the actual marketing materials that this brand puts their logo on, that the storylines that they sell you, essentially they're selling you a problem. The problem is that your shower water is dirty, and the solution is, oh my goodness, your acne, that's been a problem for you. It's your shower head, you silly goose. Didn't you know? They know exactly who they're selling to. Apparently they're selling to vulnerable people who are struggling to pay their bills and struggling with things like acne. They're looking for desperate people to try something that just might solve some of their problems. It's crappy to see. And again, we love Japan. Comment Sam for a 2-week Japan itinerary. And just to remind you, this is a 1,000,000% different account. All of these accounts are run either by the same person or the same agency. If I had to guess, these pieces of content could be coming from overseas or just from somebody who is getting paid very little to create these low effort, lazy, but unfortunately successful. When you do it as much as this account is doing, we can see here they have, oh my God, they have 123,000 followers. 123,000 followers. Who is following this fake account? I feel silly preaching to you because I know that if we're here having this conversation, we're all interested in this stuff and are already, I believe, looking at social media with a bit of a more discerning approach. However, I really do believe like we should be having these conversations with people of don't just willy-nilly follow social media accounts, because a lot of the time, they are simply just trying to get you to spend their money and make a quick buck. One big old red flag is if you look at the account and you notice that all of the imagery, all of these storylines include people who all look very different. That alone is a huge red flag. And if that wasn't enough, I'm going to show you one more huge red flag that unfortunately we do have to think about when it comes to consuming social media content. Okay, so are you ready for this already insane story to get completely out of control? So let's go ahead and look at some of the top comments on the carousel we just read through. Somebody said, I definitely want to move somewhere new and improve. Great sentiment. This creator apparently responds to comments. They said, Japan should be at the top of the list. Someone else said, the fact that I just told my BF I want to have our future family in Japan. And then somebody else said groceries are definitely not $30 to $50, and that has 9 replies because once again, engagement farming tactics doing a great job of getting us to speak up and converse, and unfortunately, they rage baited us into having their video go viral. And then somebody else said, does this family know they live in Japan? No, this family does not know that they live in Japan. It's absolute news to them. So this is exactly why I blurred all of the faces in these fake accounts that we're looking at today, because unlike the last AI influencer video we went through, these accounts, while they are fake and they follow the same format and they do use some AI imagery and use AI to manipulate some of the photos slightly from what I can tell, they are actually using images from real people. Like, you should check these accounts. They could be using their images. Like, as somebody who has a presence on TikTok, I'm like, I am going to scroll through one of these videos and see my freaking face. Okay, so as you can tell, this stuff really does freak me out and bother me because this is wrong on a million levels. Let's watch this video from the real person who was featured in that video.
Derek, we moved to Japan. Where are we at right now?
Louisiana.
Oh my gosh. As she says in that video, they do not live in Japan. They live in Louisiana. Her caption literally says, they got me blocked, y'all. We do not live in Japan. And luckily that video blew up. Tons of comments, tons of shares. So let's look at what people are saying to this real person. Someone said, no way, I just reposted that too. Shake my head. The creator, the real person here, said, better repost, LOL. I'm sure. She's like, girl, get that stuff taken down. Please do not share that. Someone else said, wow, I was just texting my homegirl, we need to move there. And she said, y'all better stay where you at, LOL. She must be so freaked out by this. Someone else said, not me actually thinking y'all moved to Japan. Oh my gosh. Yep. And someone else said, I knew it. My discernment told me to keep on scrolling and here I am. Yes, we love to see that. Like, trust your gut. That is a real thing. And even if it does get you at first, the second you see a product, that is the biggest red flag. It's okay that it fooled you. Like, they have fooled me 1,000,000%. I love a good story. I love an inspiring story. However, the second we are seeing this product placement, it is red flag. Keep on scrolling. And finally, someone said, those slideshows are just hidden ads. Somehow no one can see that. And the creator said, it literally makes me so mad. I'm sure she is so frustrated. Her imagery is being used against her will to sell a crappy product. So yes, what we can see just from the comments here is discussion around the fact that people did fall for this. I think it's great that these discussions are happening because that's the only way that we can get this stuff to stop is by not falling for it. But more importantly, let's talk about how illegal and wrong it is to use real people's imagery in advertisements. Also, the last carousel that we looked at together, I used a reverse image search website to find the real family in that scenario as well. So that family has 46,000 followers on Instagram. They are real people, and their photos were stolen and used to fabricate this entire fake storyline, this undisclosed advertisement that went completely viral. This is bad on a million levels. So let's break it down. So first of all, like I said before, stealing someone's image for an advertisement is absolutely illegal. It's copyright laws, privacy laws, and right of publicity laws, which all come into play here. So in the US, at the very least, you cannot use someone else's image for your advertisements. to sell your products. So if we could actually hold a real person accountable here, they could be hit with a ton of lawsuits. A real brand cannot engage in this kind of deceptive marketing and get away with it. However, this gets back to the plausible deniability of it all, which is so frustrating to me that we're seeing this real brand, this showerhead brand, benefit from literal illegal marketing practices. And yet there is no real person here that we can hold accountable for breaking the law. And even then, like I said before, if we were to point the finger at the people behind this brand and say, hey, you're doing something illegal, you're benefiting from something that is wrong, that is lying to us, it is literally stealing people's images to sell your crappy product. Even if we were to point the fingers there, again, I would guarantee it, I would put money on it that the people behind this company would say, no, we have nothing to do with it. And we'll get more into the affiliate marketing of it all in a little bit, but this is crazy frustrating to me. And let me even put this way. Never in a million years, 2 weeks ago, when I made that AI influencer video about the scammy NAD supplements, who are, yes, they're benefiting from these literal AI generated accounts. Never in a million years would I have thought that in just a couple weeks, I would be saying that at least that is more ethical, creating fake images. At least that is more ethical than literally stealing real people's imagery with zero attempt to disguise it in that sense. It's crazy that I'm like, wow, AI in that sense was more ethical than this. Not saying that influencer accounts using AI images to sell you products through deceptive marketing, undisclosed advertisements, it's the same exact format. Not saying that that is okay by any means, but wow. And just to show you that example, in case this is the first video of mine that you're seeing, this is an example of one of those accounts that is fully AI. And the reason we can really tell here that this is absolutely AI. I mean, there's a lot of reasons when you look at the details, the symmetrical faces, the hollow eyes, the fact that like arms are doing weird things, sometimes fingers are off. You can see just by scrolling through her account that her face, like somebody is running this woman's face through an AI generator and trying to recreate the same person over and over, which obviously isn't working because she looks quite different in every single one of these thumbnails. I can't help but wonder here if maybe this kind of AI generated practice, I mean, we know that AI generated images learn how to create imagery off of images that already exist. It's a whole conversation when it comes to the ethics of AI and how it can be really bad for the world when it comes to creating art off the backs of real artists. A whole conversation that's frankly above my pay grade and my intelligence levels, but maybe these were real images at first that have slowly just got chewed up through these AI generators, and now we can spot them for what they are, which are fake imagery. Also have to say here, it was so frustrating to me with these AI influencers that there is no way that a real human can compete with an AI generated account, because whoever's behind this can just wake up every day, kind of just run their photos through an AI generator, create their ChatGPT story, copy paste it. And we're seeing these posts come out every single day, if not multiple times a day. No human can compete with that. When I was a creator on TikTok and documenting my travels, I would spend hours editing like a 1 minute and 30-second video. So I was really more putting out like a video a week because of how much time it took. There is no way, unless you are completely lying and fabricating stories and using images that can be generated in just a second, that any real person can compete with AI-driven storylines, all this crazy stuff. And that goes the same with these fake influencers. Even though the humans in these accounts are real people, it is still just as easy, if not easier, to just go find some random person on TikTok or Instagram, download all their images, and then use them for your fake stories. It's bad on a million levels. The AI influencers in themselves are really bad, but this is actual identity theft. Like, it's not It's not okay. So let's talk about why is a social media platform as big as TikTok, and yeah, they're not taking these accounts down. I have even reported some of these accounts and I have not seen anything happen with them. So that raises the question of why. And let's just talk about that for a second here. Going back to TikTok's policies, we know that this is breaking several of their policies. So they have every right to deplatform them entirely, but instead, over and over again, we're seeing these videos go absolutely viral in the algorithm. So why aren't they doing that? Well, I honestly, again, this is just my opinion. I think that they know that this kind of deceptive marketing and fake virality is happening, and I don't think they want to stop it. The reason why is because social media platforms, including TikTok, thrive off of engagement. The more time that we're spending on their platform, the more money they're making from actual advertisements, actual brands paying them to sell their products to us. This is how these platforms ultimately make their money. So when we think about engagement and we even boil it down to these few examples that we've looked at together, a lot of engagement and time that is spent on social media is born through arguing and outrage, and then even on the other end of things, inspiration and reacting and discussing in the comments. So these fake viral ads, whether or not TikTok probably has some opinions on they want brands to actually properly promote their products on their platform so that they are spending money and TikTok is making money. Even though I think that's real, I think ultimately TikTok is at the point where they really would rather see the most amount of engagement that they possibly could on their app. And when I think about, these fake profiles that are doing really well, I can then go ahead and look at Facebook, which, in case you missed it, Facebook recently came out discussing how they have created their own AI-generated accounts. So essentially these were fake influencers. I believe that they were labeled that they were AI, but they were entirely fake imagery, fake personalities. They would have discussions using whatever AI bot that they created to emulate this person's personality. And the reason why they're doing that is pretty obvious. I believe that they see the value, number one, in having AI influencers be positioned to build communities, build audiences, and one day be sponsored by brands. It's a great way to make money on the platform without it's just cutting out the middleman. And from the perspective of brands will engage with AI influencers one day. In fact, they even already are. We'll talk about that in a second. But brands also want a influencer who isn't going to get into any scandals, doesn't argue too much when it comes to brand deals. Everything's very cut and dry. Because if AI influencers can build these audiences and like these parasocial relationships and kind of tap into the same sort of trust that I feel with a lot of the creators that I follow and spend a lot of time listening to and learning from, if they can tap into that phenomenon, they become the perfect brand ambassadors. So I believe all of these major social media platforms see where this is going. And even in the case of Facebook, I don't know about you, but I don't feel like my generation uses Facebook really at all anymore. The only reason I still have a profile is because I recently moved and I like to see what is happening in my town. And right now, at least, Facebook is kind of the best tool for that. Other than that, I don't really post anything. I don't really engage too much. It's just not a fun place for me. And I wouldn't be surprised if Facebook is seeing numbers that show that they are seeing a huge drop in engagement on their platforms. I would go as far to guess that that's probably happening. And they know that if they can use these tools like AI to push engagement on their platform, and even, I don't want to get too deep into it, but if you look into the way that they were using these AI accounts that they created on their own, they were almost created in a way to spike controversy and have these almost fights with real people in their comments. It got very weird. And again, if you think that this is like a future problem that we're not dealing with right now, like I said before, AI influencers are already getting brand deals. It's not hypothetical. It is happening right now. So I dipped my toes into this world, which is a little bit freaky to me, but one of the biggest names in the space seems to be Lil Miquela, which is an AI generated influencer who has worked with brands like Prada, Samsung, and Calvin Klein. And she's been promoted as a model. She's attended fashion shows and even collaborated with real influencers. And here's the kicker. Her Instagram alone has millions of followers who interact with her. And even though, her imagery is very AI, we are still already seeing these audiences who find this type of AI, like fake personalities, really interesting and do interact with her as if she's a real person. Very interesting to me. That's all I'm going to say. I also found another AI influencer, I believe Nunori, a AI influencer who recently landed a full-on record deal with a label. Yeah, so not only are AI influencers getting brand deals, but they are making art. Freaky. It freaks me out. I have to say it. It really does. And this, I do believe, is just the tip of the iceberg. And what this comes down to for me is ultimately, I talked about in my very first video about how I find the world of marketing fascinating and business fascinating because as someone who, used to kind of be pretty into true crime world, I try not to anymore because it's just far too dark for me. But brands, like I remember in a class back in business school, our professor introduced the idea that corporations do not function the same way as humans. Even though humans run these corporations, the corporations themselves do not have to abide by the same social or ethical rules that humans do. And for that reason, if you took a corporation and put them into human form, they would be categorized as a psychopath because they are not making decisions around what is right or what is wrong. Even decisions that we see from brands that feel like they're doing the right thing, or maybe it's a brand who is speaking up on environmental issues or prioritizing eco-friendly products. I think that is great, and I don't think it's wrong to support brands that do good for the environment. However, we do have to remember that greenwashing in marketing is a huge thing. There's a difference between, some brands who do it in a really full, meaningful way and brands who just kind of slap on the recyclable label, even though their product isn't recyclable. But we do have to remember here that even those brands who are doing actual good in the world, ultimately, a lot of these decisions do come down to marketing and sales. They know that there are audiences out there who care about this stuff, and so they choose to position and differentiate their products by being good for the environment. And again, I don't want to say that that is wrong because I want to see more of that for sure. But we have to remember that corporations make decisions based on dollars. And just taking that tangent and bringing it back to AI influencers, brands do not care if their advertising impressions are coming through a real person, like a content creator who can share a product with their audience, as long as, like I said before, that same trust and that same level of influence is occurring, whether or not they are sponsoring a real person or a fake account. They do not care. They simply just want to see the numbers. That is all it comes down to. So even though, yes, AI influencers or AI as a topic is really hot right now, and I'm sure there are companies who want to be innovative and experiment with these AI influencers and kind of be at the forefront of what's happening. I don't think it's just a fad. I think that companies are pouring a lot of money into this world because, as we're seeing, even on this small scale with these fake influencers, these things work. So another piece of the puzzle I just want to touch on very quickly, the question around are AI influencers good for humanity? Is there any positives that we can take out of imagining a world where AI influencers are mainstream? And the reason I think it's important to talk about this is because through my research of kind of like dipping my toes into the world of AI influencers, I could not help but find a lot of discourse around people who are happy to see AI influencers doing so well and they really want them to succeed. And I just want you to think about this for yourself. I know that I have opinions and I've been feeling pretty fired up even just going through this topic because I think that this is insane and I find it a little bit scary. But like I said, I want you to come to your own conclusions here. Is this objectively a good thing? Objectively a bad thing? Are there good and bad elements here? Well, I want to show you this Reddit post, which someone shared an article about how AI generated like virtual influencers are stealing jobs from real humans. And I found it very interesting that a lot of the top comments looked something like this. People with fake personalities giving fake endorsements are getting upstaged by actually fake people. Nothing of value lost. Oh no, think of the annoying influencers. It's not a real job anyway. People perfect for the robots. And listen, I get where this is coming from. I really do. In fact, it is why I have started this entire channel to have these discussions around influencer marketing and deceptive marketing tactics and the outright lies that are being fed to us left and right when it comes to social media. I think that this discussion is important. However, something that I really like to spend time on in every video I make is how I think that social media can do a lot of good for our world and can be a good thing, but I also know and think it's important to acknowledge all of the bad that social media is doing. And one of those bad things is the fact that even though we all can think of a content creator that we love, who we know puts a lot of work into their content and takes a lot of time, and what they create is meaningful and they really value their audience, and we want to see those content creators get brand deals that they can engage with in a transparent way and fund their creation. However, I cannot help but notice that where social media is going is it's creating this world where anybody can get on the internet and completely lie to us, just tell us outright lies in the most convincing ways sometimes, completely play on our vulnerabilities and our emotions to sell us crappy products. That is a huge part of what social media is right now. And another aspect of social media that's really frustrating and like scary, that it has to be part of the conversation, is how social media may be part of helping us as like a human race or as a society become a little less human. This is just my personal experience, and it's hard for me to know if this is an actual shared experience or if this is just because of, decisions I've made in my life. But ever since 2020, I lived in the city. My work was my job, or my job was my life, and I was very social all the time, to the point that I honestly was totally exhausted and burnt out. And then I feel like I completely flipped the switch into going into almost complete isolation, aside from like my husband, the person I lived with, and even doing this van life adventure, as amazing as it was. And I miss that experience every single day. It's lonely. It's lonely at times. I left all of my friends and family, and man, making friends is hard. Luckily, I did make some friends. And I don't know, I also moved since coming back and being stationary. I am no longer living near my friends and family geographically. It's a good drive to get to almost everybody that I know. So I am feeling the sense of isolation. I'm also seeing discourse on social media about other people feeling a sense of isolation. Maybe it's just because I am, and my algorithms are made for me. But I do think that it's worth having a conversation around how social media is making us a bit more lonely, isolated, less human. I don't know. All of that to say is that if isolation is a real issue in our society, do we really want to have AI influencers be our virtual friends and make that issue even worse? I mean, and when we picture this world of AI influencers that are mainstream, I want you to think about who is going to be behind those accounts and benefiting off of the brand deals that they're getting. If that is where this is going, then these multi-billion-dollar corporations are going to find a way to create their own influencers. They're going to cut out the middleman entirely. I can guarantee it. All right, I know that was a lot, so just to sum up here, I don't believe that these fake ads are going to go away anytime soon, even if we are talking about them. In fact, they're probably just going to get more effective. Also, I do believe that social media platforms ultimately do want more of this kind of content on their platforms simply because it keeps us engaged. And finally, the brands that are featured in these deceptive advertisements, these deceptive undisclosed advertisements from fake influencers, can show from the rooftops all day that they have nothing to do with it at all, and I won't believe them personally, because they directly benefit from it. Like this shower head, yeah, I have a lot of thoughts, so let's get into it. Okay, so we have to talk about this stupid shower head because number one, if you go on Google or Amazon and you look up filtered shower head, it will not be hard for you to find thousands of cheaper options than this one that is getting pushed through all of these ads. And what we're about to look at together is that instead of being a good product, this company is differentiating themselves by going pretty fake, like fake influencers, fake storylines, really deceptive marketing strategies, in my opinion. And again, I'm gonna say it for legal purposes, this is all my opinion. 1,000,000% this video is completely my opinion, and I genuinely want you to take all the information that I'm showing you and about to show you and come up with your own opinions as well. If you have differing opinions, please share them in the comments below. That is important. But in my opinion, I believe that the brands who are benefiting from this type of fake, deceptive marketing influencers know exactly what is happening. And again, I cannot speak to how involved they are with orchestrating this type of fake influencer campaign. But let's just look at the big picture here, shall we? So first things first, I do want to acknowledge that this showerhead brand does have an affiliate marketing program through Amazon and TikTok. So on Amazon, I believe it's like about a 3% commission rate. So ultimately, if these AI fake whatever influencers are actually using affiliate links in their bio, it's hard for me to tell if those links, they do have links in the bio to the product. It's hard for me to tell if they are affiliate links or just any link that anybody could find on the internet. If they are making affiliate money off of this showerhead, it's really only $3 to $4 on the Amazon product. So it's not crazy to me. We will get into the TikTok shop side of things, and over there, they're making a lot more money off of these products. So something just to think about. Anywho, let's start by looking at the Athena website, because the very first sentence is all we need to see to understand exactly what their marketing strategy is here. Fear-based marketing. And when it comes to fear-based marketing, the way that they sell to us, these brands who engage in fear-based marketing, is to sell us a problem before they sell us a solution. Brands are very good at this, and PR as a whole, it's fascinating to me the way that like celebrity endorsements and these different conversations and media can shape our opinions around very much in the beauty industry. This is huge around what beauty standards are and what we should feel ashamed about. Oh my goodness, a whole story that I'll have to get into one day when it comes to reflecting on the history of marketing and public relations versus what we're seeing now on social media today is the marketing campaign in over the 20th century from razor companies convincing women that body hair is terrible. It's awful. Okay, we're gonna stay on topic here for now. So going back to this fear-based marketing, what is the problem that they're selling us? They are saying the truth is your shower water is dirty. Now, if you were here for the NAD AI influencer video that I did, I went very deep into the science behind these NAD supplements and how ultimately it is just a total mess. For the sake of time in this video, I am not going to go super deep into the science behind shower filters, but let's just start by going and seeing if we can debunk some of this brand's major claims that they are putting straight out on their website. So starting with claim number 1, which is your shower water is dirty. So again, this is fear-based marketing at its finest. Most water sources in the US are heavily regulated by the EPA. So in most areas, like your water is clean and safe. And if you're concerned, you can test your water, which I actually just recently moved to a home where I have a well for the first time. And we tested our water and I learned that I have really hard water, which leads us into the next claim, which is hard water strips are natural oils in your hair and skin, leaving it damaged, dry, and irritated, which yes, hard water does affect hair. However, this is something I've recently had to research and figure out how I'm going to mitigate that issue, because I have learned through just very little research, it doesn't take too much time to do a little bit of Google searching, that these shower heads don't actually remove calcium and magnesium, which are the minerals that cause the like hard water buildup. And in my research, the only way to soften water is through an ion exchange water softener. So again, the fact that they have this on their website is a huge red flag, because this is not hard to debunk, which leads me back to just kind of pointing out the parallels of them saying absolutely anything, any lies to sell a product. Huge red flag. Now, claim number 3, the A1 shower head uses powerful filtration particles to capture harmful substances in your water. This is marketing fluff. What particles? They don't specify in any way. So a little pro tip here, if you are actually shopping for a water filter, whether it is for showering or drinking or like a whole house system, when you are doing your research, look for products that have an NSF certification. That is at least one place that you can start to kind of weed out a decent product versus a total sham of a product, in my opinion. Because the NSF, which is the National Sanitation Foundation, is an independent organization that rigorously tests water filtration products to make sure that they actually do what they claim. So these are the kind of certifications that we as buyers can learn a little bit about and look for when it comes to making a pretty expensive purchase like this. And guess what I don't see anywhere on this website, anywhere on their Amazon page, is any sort of NSF certification. So yeah, when we're looking at these companies, if we see that they're not actually investing in any sort of real research and they're using all of these lies and deceptive marketing tactics to sell their product, all big red flags. Stay far away, in my opinion. Moving on to claim number 4, this shower head is designed and tested to exceed all NSD standards. What is NSD? No clue. I could not find anything about what the NSD is. The only thing I can really theorize here is they're trying to confuse us into thinking that they're talking about the NSF certification, which makes absolutely no sense. So again, when I tell you that I cannot tie this company directly to these fake influencers, let's look at how they market their product and the deceptive marketing practices that they're using on their very own landing page. Claim number 5 is through rigorous testing of numerous showers and filters, we have meticulously crafted the AO1. Okay, where's the data? Where are your studies? Like, if that is real and they genuinely did rigorously test this product, they should be linking that at the very top. They should be forming all of their marketing materials around that data to show us why this is genuinely better. And claim number 6, our proprietary blend of organic compounds works together to create a customized redox reaction, optimizing the filtration process. Again, this is sciencey nonsense. A customized redox reaction means absolutely nothing to me, or anyone else who is casually researching a water filter. It's just classic marketing buzzwords that are designed to confuse us and make us believe that these people know what they're talking about, so we might as well take a chance on them. And now claim number 7 is replace every 2 months to fully enjoy the advantages of clean and filtered water. This is going to lead us into the ridiculousness of having a subscription model for a shower head, which we'll touch on in just a little bit. So all of this to demonstrate that what we have here is a completely average at best shower filter using deceptive marketing to sell their product. And as we can see, like I said before, just by taking a quick look on Amazon, they're positioning themselves as sort of like a luxury filter. The sticker price is $129, while we can see actual NSF certified shower filters typically sell for around $50 or maybe even less. So what are we paying for here? Clearly, it is not the research and development. It is for the fake influencers, the AI generated ads. So now that is the Afina website. Now let's look at one of their actual social media brands that they have put their branding and linked to on their website. So over on Instagram, just by scrolling through their posts, we can see that this brand does invest in real influencer marketing, which is a fine model, but I do want to implore anyone, if you are a content creator, really, even if it's not a brand that you're putting on your own social media platforms, I do think it's important to research these brands before you engage with products like this. So anyways, here, what I find most interesting is what's happening over in their tagged posts. So one of the first things that caught my eye here is a meme page called Ite with 9.6 million followers. Apparently, a big part of their content strategy for this Instagram account is resharing Reddit posts, which is nothing surprising there. That's a common model, I think. But this meme account was actually paid by Afina. They do sort of disclose this partnership to promote the Afina shower head. So let's look at this and see if we can draw any parallels or patterns here. The first slide says, Airbnb hosts reveal insane things their customers do. I've had my Afina shower head taken 4 times this year. Okay. So here is the screenshot of this supposed real Reddit post. I don't know if this is photoshopped. I don't know if this is a plant. It says, what's your weirdest Airbnb story? Recently, my guests couldn't check in because they were trying to enter through the wrong door. Before even calling me, they broke a window to get in. Let me hear some of yours. Now I'm interested. Next slide says, they did s'mores over a fire in the sunroom. The house smelled like smoke. And I said, what happened? And they said, we don't know. It was just supposed to be a smokeless fire pit. We thought it was indoor safe. Next one says, the constant theft of my shower heads. I have filtered shower heads that help with dry skin, itchiness, and overall skincare. People love them so much that I have new clients messaging me, no shower heads? I immediately order same-day shipping off of Amazon and ask them to install for me and explain that previous tenants must have stolen them, but I'm getting sick of it. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe that this is acceptable social media marketing practices. Then they have a image of a shower head, or like there's no shower head there. Hey, is this normal? OMG, I'm so sorry. Previous tenants must have stolen them. I just ordered a new one. Would you mind just screwing yours on? Please. Please, please, please. And then a freaking AI cat. One time a client left their cat in the house and messaged me, I'll pick her up next week. After checking out, I said no, and she said it's fine. She left plenty of food around. My goodness, I'm not going to read through this whole caption here, but so interesting to me that this is a meme account. So, okay, at least they're not impersonating a real person. However, this is obviously all the same sort of engagement farming techniques that we were looking at with those fake influencer accounts. They are bringing up these controversial stories like somebody leaving their cat in the hotel room. Obviously, we have tons of comments here of people being like, oh my God, that's so cruel. I hope you reported them. People, don't fall for this. This is an advertisement. These are lies. So I wanted to point this out because this is a disclosed partnership where we can see that Athena has paid this account. Although I will point out, they did not use the paid partnership label that they are required to on Instagram. That's no news here. That is very common practice that influencers and meme pages apparently get away with left and right every single day. But they did hashtag Athena partner at the very bottom of their caption, by the way, not at the top like they're supposed to. So this is just fascinating to me that this is a marketing model that's definitely working. Social media is becoming a weird place if these are the posts that are going viral and getting tons of engagement. They're not worth our time, in my opinion. And just to drive the point home around the parallels that we're seeing between these meme accounts and those fake influencer accounts, when it comes to repeating the same story that works for a brand over and over and over again in hundreds and hundreds of different forms of content that are designed to go viral on social media, we can see that there is at least one other paid partnership post from a different meme account called Wasted. I will point out that at least this account did use the paid partnership label. But even though this is a disclosed advertisement, which I appreciate, I think it's important for us all to recognize that they are engaging in lazy marketing. They are using the same story over and over and over again. And I don't want to waste our time reading through this one line by line, but you can check it out on the screen really quick. They are taking the same Airbnb host reveals insane stories model to sell the Athena shower head. It's a very odd form of product placement to me, and I get that these accounts are interesting and that this is an easy way to consume content and share memes with each other, and it's a way to connect with people and laugh at funny stories, but I do want us to talk about the fact that this is all advertising. It's not real. None of this is real. It's weird. So in my opinion, what this is looking like to me, when I look at this Athena shower head brand, it looks to me like this is almost a pump and dump scheme to sell as much of a product as possible through any possible deceptive marketing method. They do not care about ethics in any way. And when we look at these different forms of marketing, I want us all to keep in mind, even though affiliate marketing is part of the conversation here, and there's an argument to be made around the fact that these fake accounts on TikTok maybe are individual actors that are making money through affiliate marketing. But something I really need to point out here is when we're looking at these parallels and looking at this marketing strategy that this brand is using, you have to remember that marketing is very complicated. I've seen people in my comments say things like, oh my God, like, why do they even do this? I've never actually bought a product from TikTok Shop, or I've never actually bought a product after seeing a restock video. And I need all of us to remember that marketing is a lot more complicated than that. Most of my career has been kind of in this life cycle marketing world, which essentially in that world, the goal is not to make you buy right now with one advertisement, but it's to look at all of the impressions that we as consumers are getting about a brand brand over a period of time and try to understand how many impressions are needed, which pieces of content are top of funnel versus middle of funnel versus bottom of funnel, where you actually go ahead and finally buy the product. Because as we can see here, after I've done some of this research and engaged with the Athena website and their social media platform, I am now getting fed actual advertisements across Instagram and Facebook. So a brand like this is thinking a lot about how they can get in front of a certain audience and slowly move them down that buyer's life cycle, which is why, in my opinion, it would not at all be surprising to me if this brand was paying creators to create those fake influencer accounts and sell their product. I also want us to think about, if this is happening, I get that this is happening more often, but if this is happening as a trend, why is it happening with this random showerhead product that doesn't even have a extremely competitive or lucrative affiliate payout? Like, I don't know. Something to think about there. Like, there's just a lot of shady stuff happening with this brand. And one more thing I wanted to show you is, while researching Athena, I came across a few Reddit posts discussing the brand. And honestly, I would go as far to say that this one feels like a marketing plant to me. Really quickly here, the post says, I have been seeing a lot of things about how water in other companies is so clean that people don't use skin care or hair products. I saw the other day that there is a water filter shower head from Japan called Athena. It's pretty pricey and the reviews are all pretty stellar, saying great things about acne cleaning, but I feel like it's so hard to trust reviews on the internet. Only reason I'm considering is because I went on vacation to Denver, I'm from Philly, and my skin almost completely cleared up. I wasn't embarrassed to go outside without makeup, needed minimal coverage when we went to the bars. It made me so happy and reminded me of what life was like with clear skin. And now here we can go down and see how conveniently the original poster shared that they ended up getting the Athena water filter and it solved all of their problems. So skin issues, I get that that's a real problem, and I'm sure people are really frustrated after trying thing after thing to solve their issues. And in their research, they may come across a Reddit post like this that helps push them over the edge of like, you know what, next thing I'm going to try is that shower filter I keep seeing everywhere. And that's why, to me, who knows, I have no way of proving whether or not this is a marketing plant, but I would not be surprised if companies that are already showing us all the deceptive marketing tactics that they love to use would do something like this to kind of plant another touch point in the buyer's life cycle to help prove to us that this is a tried and true, well-reviewed product. I also want to point out kind of the level of intelligence that they use throughout their deceptive marketing. It's like just enough plausible deniability. Like, we didn't say it was just the best product in saving our lives. We were just asking people about it. I really do think a lot of what we're seeing here is very, very strategic. So now I just want to put one last prediction of what I think we're going to see next from this particular company, because TikTok Shop, like I've already alluded to, is absolutely out of control. I have been doing my best lately to study different viral products on TikTok Shop and looking at the patterns that I see through these different influencers who essentially just simply exist to sell us a lot of plastic on TikTok Shop. That's essentially what it is. And I see all of these outrageous claims being made all the time. Absolute lies are happening. TikTok Shop creators will say anything to sell a product. And I do want to take a step back here, because I even have someone that I follow on TikTok who's an artist who uses TikTok Shop to sell their products directly through their videos. I think that's a good thing. But 1,000,000% we're going to get more into it on this channel. There are so many products that are going viral on TikTok Shop that is essentially just these really wild, unchecked, massive marketing campaigns. And I've been trying to do a little bit of undercover work to see if there are any orchestrated examples of brands sort of funneling guidance around what type of content to use or what type of outlandish lies to use as claims through their TikTok Shop videos. So stay tuned for that. But we are seeing so many of these direct to consumer product models that are pretty pump and dump. Like, you see this entire brand kind of being formed out of nowhere, a ton of deceptive marketing practices being pushed to sell the product. And then if they do get caught, I guess like they just fade into obscurity and probably get away with it. because of the plausible deniability that we keep talking about. So my prediction for this brand is that the first wave of deceptive marketing that we're seeing with them is these weird moving to Japan fake influencer posts. What we're going to see next from them is using that content to fuel posts like this from real influencers.
Is anyone sick of living in the US? Because as a first world country, we still can't compare to Japan, and this guy is living his best life. Like, I recently started making 6 figures, and tell me why I still feel poor. Like, groceries are so expensive, rent is high as hell. Then you go to Japan, and this guy literally, is living like a king over there. Apparently, if you make 40K in the US and you bring it to Japan, like, it literally feels like you're making 90K in Japan because the economy is weak. Like, I remember when I went to Japan once, and the bowl of ramen was like $6.
These are lies.
Over here, 20 plus, okay? And don't even get me started on the work culture. Like, who the hell invented a 9 to 5? Why the hell are we built on productivity? Why is our worth built on how much work we can get done? Like, whose dream are we building? Whereas the work culture in Japan, they're shifting towards a 4-day a week, like Monday through Thursday. Hell yeah, I want a freaking long weekend. And I also mentioned rent. Rent is high as hell. I'm in Ohio, and rent is starting to get up towards like 2,000, whereas in Tokyo it's like about $500 a month for a 2-bed, 2-bath. What the hell? And then groceries, $20 a week. This guy's living his life. I want to be there. Ooh, don't even get me started on water, because why the hell is our water still like contaminated? Japan just has it all figured out. There's a reason why Japanese women have like silky,
the exact
hair,
misinformation.
and it's because they have freaking shower head filters.
Talking about
like,
on
I
TikTok
don't have
Shop.
that. Even though our shower heads don't have these filters already, apparently you can get them. This one is called Afina. It literally filters out like 95% of contaminants in our water. That's so important because hard water literally builds up minerals in our hair and then leads to freaking hair loss.
Filter
I recently
hard
gone
water.
through, unfortunately.
It doesn't.
I'm so glad that I found out about the shower head filter, because this was me about a month ago.
Her hair looks
like
fine.
I thought I was sick or something.
It looks
but
fine.
No, it was because
Look
I was
mine.
showering with hard water. I don't know if you could see, but like my baby hairs are growing out. So best investment ever. And yes, at some point someone needs to show me how to move to Japan, because I literally
cut. Ugh, like how frustrating is it to see that these fake influencers using real people's imagery are now becoming assets for real influencers to shill you this product and bring you further down that buying life cycle. It's almost like it's by design. Weird. And let's just look at this for a second. This TikTok Shop influencer has managed to rack up 700,000 views just doing videos about this product, and she only started posting videos about this product a couple weeks ago. And this is what we're seeing on TikTok Shop. Just like these fake influencers, they are pushing fake narratives with no fact checking, no interest in actually gaining your trust and being a thoughtful, meaningful content creator. And I know I cut it a little bit early, but at the end she said something like, just get it right now though, because they've been selling out like crazy. Might as well just get one right now. That is exactly what we see from every single one of these TikTok Shop creators. They all use the same exact marketing tactics, the same exact lines. It's really ridiculous. So a tip that I want to give you, if you are a user of TikTok, if you ever find yourself even considering a product that you're being sold on TikTok Shop, or even considering believing anything that one of these creators tells you, this is all you have to do. Go to their actual account, one quick click. If their entire account simply exists to sell you a variety of TikTok Shop products, or even just one TikTok Shop product as we see often, do not trust a thing that they say. They are not there to help you, to give you information. They are there to make a quick buck. This is a breeding ground for lies, manipulation, and straight up scams, like snake oil products, 1000%. All right, so now we have to talk about it. We have to talk about the fact that this shower head has a subscription model, which in itself is another form of deceptive marketing. And please, for the love of all that is good in this world, can we stop making everything a subscription model? That is another version of a dystopian future that I do not want to partake in. And there is also a free trial aspect to this shower head, which I happened to come across someone on LinkedIn named Levi Steed, who is a performance strategist and marketer. And honestly, I could not have explained this free trial strategy better myself. So let's just have him break it down.
This is one of the smartest e-commerce strategies I've seen in a very long time. Almost every brand that I know offers a discount in exchange for an email. But this brand, Afina, takes it a step further. Instead of offering an additional discount in exchange for an email, what Alpina does is they actually offer a 7-day free trial period for their filtered shower heads. But why does it work so well to get new customers into your business? Well, as you can probably already guess, if a customer doesn't actually have to pay for the product and they only have to cover the shipping cost, they are much more inclined to buy the product. But what if they don't like the product and they send it back to you in 7 days? Then you're of course stuck with a huge loss. But let's be honest, who is going to see the effects of a filter shower head within 7 days? And still, worst case scenario, you want to send it back, you still have to dismantle it, pack it, and send it back to the company, which will take quite some time. And of course, Afina knows this. That's why they are pushing this offer so hard. And they even added in a subscription that every 60 days you receive a new filter shower head, which of course increases the lifetime value. Key takeaway, if you're selling a product that's similar to this, think about offering a free trial to get new customers into your business.
This, for better or for worse, is how marketers think about selling products. And there's a fine line between what we know is obviously deceptive marketing, those fake influencer accounts, and practices like this that are becoming more popular and utilized by real brands. But this is the psychology that marketers think about when creating these subscription models or free trials. They get that, like, I am someone who I literally just yesterday went and returned like 7 items that I had bought for Christmas or had got for Christmas and ended up having to return or exchange. And I waited until January 31st, which was the last day that I could return. And they even give you a really long time to return around Christmas time. So yeah, companies understand that a lot of us do procrastinate when it comes to returning and do get caught up in other aspects of our lives. So even though we may not have to pay upfront for this shower head, if we actually use it, if we actually put it together, number one, we're not going to be able to see any results within 7 days. Obviously not. And number two, it's going to be so annoying to then unscrew it all, wait till it dries, try to package it into the packaging that we already opened. It's just, I bet if we looked at their numbers, they know that the returns almost never happen. And what's even crazier is this subscription model. And honestly, it keeps adding to the mystery of this company, which is frustrating to me because here is all I could find. Their history is basically non-existent. Their Amazon page seems to have gone live in March of 2024, so that means the brand is less than a year old. Their LinkedIn presence is essentially non-existent. In fact, I could only find one person who publicly claims to be a co-founder. And one thing I found interesting here is that his career started at Brooklinen. So going back to my van life days, when I first started trying my hand at content creation, I was looking up to a lot of influencers at the time that were partnering with Brooklinen and had seen so many videos of these bed sheets or whatever they are. So all of that to say is just, it's interesting to me that the co-founder of this company definitely does have experience with influencer marketing. Also, I couldn't help but notice the 2 most recent posts this guy interacted with on LinkedIn follow that same comment a keyword for more information playbook, which I know is not an uncommon tactic. We've already talked about how that can help kind of like funnel us down the buyer life cycle, but I just giggled at that considering what we've seen from this brand's marketing strategies. Now, one more thing I noticed about the LinkedIn posts this man interacts with is he liked quite a few posts about TikTok Shop and affiliate marketing, unsurprisingly. But here's a rabbit hole to keep our minds spinning for a little bit. So he liked this post from a person who is kind of boasting a little bit here about her affiliate marketing contract work. Let's just read this together very quickly. 3 TikTok Shop affiliates I work with made over $75,000 in commission in the last 60 days. That's a huge number. They aren't traditional influencers with millions of followers. They're just like you and me, except they're really in their bag. I've talked to hundreds of affiliates in the past 6 months, and I'm always left in awe of their passion, drive, and creativity, and willingness to lie through their teeth. Sorry, I had to add that in there. I met a nurse working 12-hour shifts and making content on her breaks, a mom from my hometown who wanted to find a way to work from home so she could spend more time with her 7 kids, a door-to-door salesman that wondered if his skills would translate online. And they all created a real source of income by posting videos with a little orange cart. TikTok Shop is changing lives and disrupting the influencer industry for the better. No, it's not in my opinion. My team and I spend 120 hours a week researching the best content strategies for TikTok Shop, and we're sick of keeping it to ourselves. But let me be clear, this isn't a way to get rich quick. Any affiliate will tell you it takes serious time and effort to make a significant profit on TikTok Shop. We just want to share what we've learned and create a community that supports one another. And oh, it's free. Am I crazy, or does that read exactly like an MLM pitch? And I know that I'm reaching a little bit here. She said it's free. There's no upfront cost like we see with MLMs. She also did share that this is not a get rich quick scheme, which we usually see with MLMs and pyramid companies. They really like to push how easy this is and how quick you can make money. However, it kind of goes against a lot of what she was saying at the beginning of the post. I mean, making $75,000 in 60 days is insane, especially when I think about what she's saying about all the good that TikTok Shop can do when I am looking at the affiliate marketing strategies happening on TikTok Shop, which brings me back to how this feels like the same do whatever, say whatever, sell whatever you can strategies that we got from MLM companies, which luckily seem to kind of be on their downfall right now. But it just feels like I'm seeing that same model without the recruiting aspect. It's all very murky to me, but again, why I think this is really worth diving deep into. And I'm doing my best here. And I would love if you would subscribe, because that is a big part of what I'm doing on this channel, is to try to expose a lot of the scammy behavior that has become pretty mainstream and acceptable. And I really do think it is worth calling out and just trying our best to make social media a little bit of a better place, because I miss the old days. So unfortunately, that is the most information I could find about this brand. However, going back to the beginning, to that first video we saw where 12 million people watched it, and we all had discussions in the comments about how weird it is that we're seeing these videos that are actual advertisements, I love that we are at the very least all in on the joke now. I think it's great that we are all laughing at the fact that these brands are trying to get away with selling to us, and that we are smarter than they think we are. We know that they're probably using bots in the comments to fuel engagement. We know that they are farming for engagement. We know that what they're doing is completely wrong. They are stealing people's images. They are using AI to craft these fake storylines. It's all so wrong. But to me, the fact that we are having these discussions is what's powerful. It's what kind of can take our power back a little bit as consumers. The better off we will be, and hopefully the better off the internet will eventually be. Because I hate to say it, but the millions of impressions that these fake influencer accounts are generating, they're not just engagement. Again, they are marketing exposure. And like I said before, it does seem like it's working. Because when we look at their Amazon page, we can see here it's reported over 2,000 Athena shower heads were sold in the last month alone. So if we assume that's been steady for about the last 6 months at $129 per shower head, if they were bought at full cost, that's over $1.5 million in sales, which is not too shabby for a mystery company with no real employees, no transparency, and seemingly zero investment in research and development. Okay, I know I maybe got a little bit too passionate in this video, but I feel like this story just really clicked for me why this world of deceptive marketing, it just gets me so frustrated. If you have made it this far in the video, I truly love you. You are my people. Thank you so much for being here. So again, please go ahead and like this video, subscribe. It really helps the channel and really helps get this video reaching more people so we can keep having this conversation. I think it's an important one to kind of spread around, you know? And I really would love to know, what are your thoughts on undisclosed advertisements like this? Like, what have you seen out there? What are your thoughts on the TikTok Shop? Where do you think all of this is going? My comments are wide open. I cannot wait to chat with you about this. And until then, it is time for me to get some vitamin D, even though it is literally 10 degrees Fahrenheit outside right now. I hope you find a moment today to maybe get some fresh air, maybe step away from the screen for a second and just take a moment for yourself and like do something that feels good. And with that, I cannot wait to see you back here next week.